Are you skinny or are you severely overweight? Well, in today, I'll be telling you about bro splits. These are splits, usually not like the ones you do for OnlyFans, but the ones you do in the gym. These are push-pull legs, or your average bro split, or full body if you really want to be a wanker. Now, I'll be showing you these and how I rate them personally. Yet again, I am not a doctor. I have no form of degree towards fitness. I just have a lot of autism and a lot of passion for the gym. We'll get into this one immediately. Right, class, it is in session. Now, I will not bullshit you with the whole buy my program, please. I'm desperate, please. Buy my program right now in the link to description. Although I would love a like and subscribe on this channel to all my videos so they can get boosted in the algorithm. Thank you very much. So, other than that, I'm not going to scam you. I'm not going to bullshit you on anything. I'm just going to generalize some splits that I know. And yeah, this is not a fucking expensive fucking PowerPoint. It's just using your fucking brain. Which all the influencers like Jesse James, Simian Panda, Mario Rios, the guy that goes, you need to look like Eon Edwards. You just need to love him. He's the most aesthetic Greek god physique of all time. You know, just typically sucking him off for no fucking reason. Leon Edwards is a fucking UFC fighter, not a bodybuilder. Now, for everyone, this is very different because everybody else has their different goals. I do appreciate that. But this is for people who typically want to build a bit of mass on their frame. Because I will not talk about things that go with it. My personal thing is I build in my body because I'm not a bodybuilder or powerlifter, whatever. I do building my body and MMA for my main sources of exercise. Because a person watching this could just do building body, or they could just do building body and football. Not soccer, you stupid Americans. It's called football. That's what the rest of the world calls it, you dumb Yanks. Now, seeing as all Americans have clicked off this video because they're so offended and wimpy, I'll get into the video. Now, this is the split chart. And by looking back at some takes of this video, because I've at least done 10, this does not appear, so I shall put it in the editing. This is full body. Full body is typically for the man, woman, circle, whatever, that is either lazy or doesn't have a lot of time. Now, if you are chronically lazy, you might do 2 days or 3 days. This is how this workout works. Now, I would not recommend it to people who don't like to, how do you say it? Because this would typically take 2 hours to probably 3, because you are doing so much in one day. And also because generally machines are typically free, especially if you go to a pure gym. Anyway, but this is classed as, on my chart, as skinny, because I don't believe this is at all optimal. Because, yeah, Greg Doucette may do it, but if we're being honest, Greg is in his 40s. He has different goals in his mind. He's not going for a Mr. Olympia, and neither are you. But you want to build some mass on your frame. He's already got his frame. And it wouldn't really benefit a beginner, in my opinion. As a beginner, you should just be getting into the groove of it. But you should at least have a plan, which is why I rate it as bottom tier, skinny tier. And I'll just walk through what you would do. Typically, you would do one muscle. you do every muscle in one day. So like you would do 3 exercises, each muscle, blah de blah de blah. Now, it's not really that optimal because your muscles have different muscles. Like, for those who do not know, the chest has 3 heads. Now, it has the middle head, clavicle head, and this little booby bit. I can't remember the name. But all those work in different ways, and I don't think you'd get much, like, you know, out of it as you would other splits, because other splits you have enough time to do all sorts. You're not jamming everything in one fucking day like an idiot. But that's typically how you would do it. You just go down the list of what's your weakest points, what's your all that, blah 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 blah. But anyway, less of the stupid one. Now, upper lower, 4 days, typically. The reason it's 4 days is because you need to hit your muscle at least twice a week for it to remotely grow. 4 days, I'd class it as a medium. If you are just starting out, I would say it's okay. But my big grip with it, when I had this sort of like program, because I didn't have a program at all, so I split into upper and lower. I did my abs, legs, and then the rest was upper body. Typically on an upper body day, you will spend probably 2 to 3 hours in the gym thinking, oh yeah, I definitely have time. But then when it comes to lower body day, it typically lasts an hour. Probably explained my weird build, because that looked a lot more defined than these, because I severely lack in the arm department and in other departments, but we won't get into that because that's too private. But in other words, it is a decent split. It can be applied to anybody who's going it for 4 days, and I'd say with your lower body, it is whatever. I'd definitely say for women, it is pretty good, because all you need to do is go in there, do your lower body, and then you're done, like most women. But when it comes to your upper body, if you don't have time, if you are very, very conscious of time, you can do supersets. That is a technique some people use. It is where you do the opposing muscle. So if you're doing your bicep for, I don't know, men, and if you're doing your tricep for men, you're going to get men, but also you're going to get a good pump in your arms. But then there is the case of, if you just want to, you know, go to the gym, you don't really have much time, I'd recommend different splits or whatever. But if you can only go 4 days because your parents say, no, Timmy, that is too bad, the gym is bad for you, then I'd say just go at it one muscle at a time, whatever you want, really. But yeah, that is typically upper and lower. So it's suitable for beginners and people who are not like really into it. So if you're one of them people, you can either screw yourself or you can just do it. Go on. Not my problem. Anyway, now we're on to the 2 splits that I definitely recommend if you want to get big. Now, we have back plus chest and arms and legs. 5-6 days split. Now, if you are a person like me, you typically like to hammer legs, so you don't have to do them again for a week, then it's like 5 days. But if you're a person who is absolute, what's it called? A pussy. But you would typically go for 6 days, but you're just still being a little bit of a pussy, you know? You're not hitting it properly. You're not doing a Tom Platz where you like can't crawl. You're just like all this. So, but yeah, it's 5 to 6 days. It's where you do your chest, back, so you do your push, pull, and then you do your arms, shoulders, and then you do your legs. Now, I think this is good for people who also do have time management issues, because typically arms, it is literally bicep, tricep, shoulders for most people. You don't really need to include your forearms, especially if you're a man. We all know why. Gotta quit that. That's very, very bad for your brain. But with this, it typically will last an hour to 2 hours, most of these sessions, because it's whatever. But when it comes to compound movements, which is the main thing I like to drive home, your compounds are very important. The splits before this, it's very hard to put your compounds in, because compounds are your squat, bench, deadlift. These things will absolutely help with your strength, but also with your gains. I thoroughly believe as a natural lifter, you should have at least compounds in your, rotation. You should do them first for any lifting. If you're doing cardio, you do that first. But then when you get up to it, you either do your, compounds. But it's typically very hard because you're doing chest and back for one day. So if you want, you can do chest and back. So you do your bench on that day, or your deadlift, or you can go to and then you can go to arms, where you can do either bench or deadlift. It's completely up to you. I'd write all this down, so if you're gonna make a split right now. So, and then legs, of course, you need to do your squats. And I don't care for those people who say, but with my legs it'll make something look very small, or it's what girls do. Honestly, do you want to look like a chicken? Couldn't be me. I train legs, thank you. I just don't train calves because it's useless. Anyway, but with this, we will say probably whatever you really think with the first two. So chest and back, arms, compounds is completely up to you. So you can do whatever you want. It can be as long as you want, be as short as you want. Typically, I think this is great for most people. Now, the best of the best is probably the most renowned push-pull legs. Now, it has the same thing as legs. If you're a pussy, you can just do it 2 times, hit 2 times, whatever. But if you're an actual man, you would actually hit for one day and absolutely destroy your legs to the point of cramps and you struggling to get upstairs. And yeah, you can at least be a man and walk out of the gym and then go for it again in a week. But with push-pull legs, it is bench, deadlift, squat. So you push, you pull, and your legs. Simplest thing. And I'd say it's definitely my favourite because with push, you are doing shoulders, you are doing chest, you are doing triceps, because those are the typical pushing movements, because through your pushing, you activate your chest, your shoulder, and your tricep mainly. Yeah, technically activate all your body, but who cares? And then with pull, you pull in with your lats, but also your biceps. Hence why I think it's the best. And it's the one I have done, and I've shown the results in a previous video of when I started to do this split, where I actually started to gain some mass and all that. And I do think for most lifters, it is the bread and butter of the industry. Doesn't really require any adjustment. It's just there you go. And if you are more intermediate and more advanced, I'm more intermediate myself, you would go for probably either a customized one like I have. I have a semi-coach, but I have a customized one for me, and I'd say it works perfect for me because it works around, you know me. But then we also have the split that I have an extreme gripe with. It is worse than full body. It is 7 days. You have a retard or you have mental health I know a person who's like this. Please, for the love of God, do not do this. Because, yeah, for one, I used to do it, but that was because I had my own mental struggles, and also I was very cry. But also, it is not good for your recovery, and it will keep you skinny. Because, look at you. You're going in all the time, you're breaking your muscle, and it's not recovering. It's just going to go, oh, fuck. I'm not going to grow. So, that is my general, opinion on these splits. Because they're self-explanatory, and honestly, anyone who's watching this video can at least apply themselves to it, because it goes from 2 days to fucking 6. I'd at least recommend fucking rest days for those who are idiots that never take rest. But also, anyone can do this, because I'll take my glasses off for this one. You may think, oh, gyms are so judgmental, they're so this, they're so that. Literally no one cares. No one cares what you're doing. As long as you keep at it, and as long as you keep pushing forward with your progress, you will get there. That is what I learned through 2 years of training in this sport. Yes, I've had previous athletic, stuff like taekwondo, kickboxing, MMA. I did those way before than I did gym. So, and if you're a person that's never had really an athletic background, I'd still recommend it, because you still need to work, still need to work your body. So I definitely recommend it. I know a lot of people out there can be like, yeah, it's just too intimidating. I'll be honest. I quit the first gym I ever went into. I went in one day and I was like, fuck that, no. Granted, I got my money back, but still, it is more of a mental barrier. If you can go with a friend, then go with a friend, of course, because then you can train together, you can do these splits. Get me some views, please. But overall, there's nothing really to worry about. Just do you. It's tunnel vision. Good to go. This is for the beginners. Intermediate and advanced, you know what the fuck you're doing. Fuck off then. But that is really it for my demonstration of splits. Typically not the ones you do for OnlyFans, of course. But that will generally be it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like for my channel, because I will be doing more videos like this, hopefully, alongside my actual fitness. Generally the fitness ones are more to show you how much effort really goes into, building my body. Because some may see it as mediocre and all this, but I do think it is very good, because I'm putting so much effort into it. And never let people bullshit you by saying, well, you got a pretty mid physique, buddy. You got all this, you got all that. For people who think a mid physique, people think Alex Eubank is a mid physique now. He's not mid. He is elite level genetics. Lex Little, people consider him mid. The dude's got the waist. The dude's got the lats. And don't get me started on people who started to say David Lade is a mid physique. What are you asking for? Fucking Chris Bumstead, naturally. That'll never happen. But yeah, stick to your goals. Make sure you are completely healthy-minded in thinking, I'll go to the gym, improve myself, narrow everybody out who thinks I'm an absolute twat or whatever the fuck. And just do you. And just keep to it. That is all my advice is. And that'll be the end of today's Rest Day Talk. I will see you in the next video.